Hey Dynamo Nation, what's going on? My name is James. Thank you for joining me on this episode today. If you're new to the channel, new to Dynamo Nation, welcome. I appreciate you being here. If you're not subscribed, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button. Definitely helps out the channel, helps me pump out more Dynasty content like this. And today we're digging back into our bag of tricks on the analytics side of things. And we are looking at RB1 finishes over the last 11 seasons. How often do players repeat? What's the drop-off look like? Let's get right into it. Again, this is 11 seasons of data. 132 chances for a running back to finish as an RB1 during that time frame in 12-team leagues. And then we have 66 players represented here. So a lot of data to go through, a lot of numbers to look at. Let's break it down. Let's get to it. So this first slide you're going to see right off the bat are one and done players. These are the players who finished as an RB1 once during this time frame. So out of 66 running backs that have had at least one RB1 finish in the last 11 seasons, 31 out of 66 only did it once. So we're looking at a rate of 46.97%, so 47%. So 47% of running backs who finished as an RB1 in the last 11 seasons only did it once. Only did it once. Think about that. And what does this data tell us? This tells us that if a player finishes as an RB1, there's a 50% chance that it'll never happen again. So we really have to start thinking about what our strategy is going to be with these running backs when we have these RBs that finish as RB1s. Do we continue to roster them knowing that there's a really good chance, a 50% chance, that they are not going to repeat as an RB1 in their careers? You know? So that's something we're going to have to audit our teams. We're going to have to really take a hard look at our teams, see who popped off, and really think about, do we want to hold these players for one more season or not? So let's take a look at the players who have done it twice. So when we look at these stats, we're looking at 15 out of 66 running backs since 2011 have finished as an RB1 twice. 22.72% of the time, so basically 23%. So what we can see is the risk for these players for that second year, from year 1 to year 2, it cuts in half. We're talking about 47% down to 23% to have a repeat at some point, right? So that number is a significant drop. Significant drop. And this is the part, like, we're looking and seeing 47% chance that they're never going to do it again, down to 2 seasons to where it's a 22% chance that's it. You're going to get a 22% chance that they'll do it twice. All right. Let's take a look at year 3. Year 3 this is the only time. This is the only tier where it does not drop off drastically. And we can see 13 out of 66 RBs since 2011 have finished as an RB1 3 times. 19.7%, almost 20%. Right? So we go from 22.7 down to 19.7. So only a 3% drop. And like I said, this is the only tier where it's not a drastic drop. And what this shows me personally that if we take the risk from year 1, so if we have a player year 1 who finishes as an RB1, and we take the risk of keeping them for another season or 2, and they have one more RB1 finish, right? This number shows me that we might as well roll the dice one more time. If they've beaten the odds, right? Their odds for finishing as an RB1 for a second time was very, very low. The fact that they beat those odds, they beat a drop from 47 down to 23. I'll take that chance of them beating another odds of 23 down to 20. That's me personally. I'm willing to roll the dice on that. From 1 season to 2 is a 24% drop. And then from season 2 to 3 is only a 3% decline. So if they've beaten the odds once, there's a really good chance they can do it again. So I will roll with that player. All right, that's me. Let's look at number 4. We can see this is where the drop-off happens hardcore. There's no coming back from this point. 4 out of 66 running backs since 2011 have finished as an RB1 4 times. This is only 6% of the time. This is a huge drop-off. And the players we're looking at are Lynch, McCoy, DeMarco Murray, and Mark Ingram. This number to me clearly shows that we're playing with fire when we get beyond that 3rd season. If you have 3 RB1 finishes from a player, you are playing with fire. Again, we went from 47% down to 23%, down to 20, down to 6. You have a 6% chance of a running back in the last 11 seasons having 4 RB1 finishes. That's it. 47% chance that they do it once. After that first season, you see where these numbers are going. 47, 23, 20 to 6. These are drastic declines. Let's look at 5 seasons. You talk about number 4 only having a 6% chance. 5, there's only 2 running backs out of 66 that have done this 5 times. And we're looking at Matt Forte, Alvin Kamara. That's the list, is those 2 players. And again, this is the tier you should 100% be looking to get out of. If you have a player who's done this 5 times, Kamara, you need to move on. We're talking a 3% chance, 2 out of 66. A 3% chance that this happens. You have hit the fantasy dynasty lottery. Be happy with your winnings, collect your money, and move on. That's what this tells me. 5 seasons just does not happen. The sweet spot to me for Rose is 3 seasons. Now you're really pushing your luck getting down here into 5. And you look at even 4 and 5 seasons. You know, we're talking 6 players so far. 6 players have done it 4 more times in the last 11 seasons. These aren't great odds, guys. So there's one player who's an outlier who's done it 6 times. I'm going to throw him up right now. The 6th season, that award is going to go to Zeke Elliott. 1 out of 66 players has done this 6 or more times in the last 11 years for a 1.5% chance. 1.5% chance. So if you hit Zeke on your team, you hit the absolute lottery. Thank God. Thank the fantasy gods. Get down on your knees. You struck gold. Now let Zeke rest in peace. That's what these numbers tell me. Let Zeke go churn out at the bottom of someone else's roster for the last few years of his career. The chance that he's going to repeat is significantly low. But he's beat the odds the whole time. I mean, Zeke beat the odds from year 1 when there was a 47% chance. Year 2, dropped down to 23. Year 3 to 20. Year 4 to 6. Year 5 to 3. And then now year 6, 1.5% chance. Zeke is the golden goose. And like honestly, these numbers show us that we really have to take a hard look at our rosters. That's what it tells me. Running backs just do not produce long term. This is a position that I have been preaching. The amount of insecurity that is attached to this position is like none else. You know, their shelf lives are so short. And this only supports my theory and what I've been preaching of trading RBs 24, 25 years old. Get out at that age. After their rookie contracts, 4 or 5 seasons, you should not be holding running backs. Honestly. It is a dwindling proposition if you continue to do that. You're going to be sitting in a poor spot. And your team is not going to be healthy. When a player signs that second contract, if that running back signs that second contract, it's time to go. These are the Nick Chubbs, the Dalvin Cooks, the Kamaras. These type of players, you have to get off of these players immediately. That's what the data has been showing us. Like, again, this is not my opinion. This is numbers. These are numbers and data that I've been pulling. Like, Nick Chubb's one of my favorite players in the NFL. I do not want to say that he needs to go, but he needs to go. He's not someone to go out and target. He might have a year or 2 left, of high upside play. And if you're a contending team, that's great. But if you're in a rebuild or even kind of in that middle ground, Nick Chubb is not a good long-term asset. You know, this position is just the amount of injuries, the wear and tear, they just go quick. And a lot of the data that we've been pulling is supporting that. And this is one of it. You know, 47% chance that they do it once, they're never going to do it again. Think about that. 6 out of the 12 RBs that have finished as the RB1 this year will never do it again, based on the numbers over the last 11 seasons. It's not like I'm taking 2 years, 3 years. This is 11 seasons of data. And then when you look at if they do it twice, 23% chance. That's it. 23% chance they do it twice. And then down to 20 to do it 3 times. That's the only time that it's okay. If you have a running back who's done it twice, you should probably keep them on your roster. Because I have a really good chance they're going to do it 3 times. If they've done it twice, I feel confident. If they have talent, good situation, they've already shown they can do it twice, I believe they'll do it a 3rd time. Most of the time. But after that, if you get 3 good seasons, it is time to abort mission. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Don't sit there and get cute thinking you're going to beat the odds. There's a really good chance that you're not. And you're going to be walking around with egg on your face. The times that it happens, count your blessings. Because that's far and few between. Remember, from 3 to 4, from 3 seasons to 4 seasons, dropped from 20 to 6%. From 4 to 5 seasons, goes from 6% to 3. And then from 3 to 1.5. Those are your odds. When you tally up seasons 4, 5, and 6 of RB1 finishes, so 6, 3, 1.5, you get a 10.5, 11% chance of your running backs ever doing that. 4 seasons or more. So 1 out of 10. That's what it's telling us. 1 out of 10. These are generational type RBs. And even generational type RBs aren't really doing this. Saquon is a generation type RB. Can't stay healthy. CMNC, generation type RB. Can't stay healthy. That's the nature of the position. That's what happens. So, yeah, man. I mean, the more we're breaking this stuff down, the more these running backs really should be scaring you. Targeting these high-end running backs that's not the business for me in these dynasty leagues. You obviously need them. You need running backs, but you should be targeting receivers, tight ends. Build that room up. Running back should be the last thing that you build and address. The very last thing. Get everything else on your roster squared away that you feel comfortable with. And then go attack running back. Because you know your shelf life is 3-4 seasons on RBs. That's it. That's what you need to count on. 3 to 4 seasons. And if that's the last thing that you fill, that's great because you're going to have a 3-4 year window of your RBs allowing you to compete and buying you time before you have to replenish them over and over again. And that's why I'm always preaching. 2-3 years in, you get your 2-3 years of productivity, move them on. Let them fall off on someone else's roster. Don't let that happen to your roster. And you're going to lose on some. 10% of the time, you're going to lose out based on the data. And that's okay. That's what's going to happen. You play the odds. If you stick to these metrics and this data, you're going to win way more often than you lose. Right? So you might trade a player like an Alvin Kamara. He's done it 5 times. Maybe Kamara breaks the mold. Maybe Kamara has 2 more in him. Maybe he surpasses Zeke. He gets to 7. That's fine. You're going to cash out now while the value is still high. Right? Because the metrics tell us that he's a 1.5% chance of doing that next year. 1.5. Not on my roster. I'm not taking that chance. And I'm not giving up what it would take to get him for it. For a 1.5% chance. No, thank you. No Sean Payton, no Drew Brees. No, thank you. So, I mean, I can't paint this picture any more clear. This is what we have to start doing. We have to really start taking a hard look at stuff like this for this offseason. And I can't do it like, you have to take a look at your own rosters. Look at your team. Go back. Look at data. Look at how many times your running backs have finished as an RB1. And use these numbers to your advantage. If you see that you have someone who's done it 4 times, do you really want to take the chance that they're going to do it a 5th time? That 3% chance that it happens? No. If someone's done it 3 times, do you want to take that 6% chance that it happens again? No. Trade that player. Let that player fall off on someone else's team. Cash in while the value is high. That's the name of Dynasty. That's how we roll this thing over. Like, people preach 3-4 year windows, and yeah, in a way that's how it goes. But if you stay in front of the curve and stay in front of these drop-offs, you can extend that window for a decade. Tagline of this channel, don't do it for a year, do it for a decade. That's what this is all about. So that's going to be it, Dynamo Nation. If you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe. If you want, support the channel. Patreon's down here. Dynasty League Dynamo. All the written content is going up on there, as well as the Twitter handle, Dynamo_Nation. So check it out. And yeah, everyone have a great week. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.